Hi everybody, my name is Sydney Rock and this is my bathroom. Now those of you who know me well know how much I love shaving, and those of you who don't will discover that over time. But basically a couple weeks ago, I had the idea of starting a shaving blog. Now by that I don't mean a blog about shaving, I mean a blog where I film myself while I'm shaving. So obviously shaving topics will come up over this. But for this one, I'd like to do a brief introduction on traditional wet shaving, why it's so cool, and how I got into it. So when I was growing up in my teens and started having a beard, I didn't really like shaving. I was the kind of guy who had to force himself to shave once a week. And a couple of years ago, maybe 4 to 5 years ago, I saw this series of videos by Mantic59, which I'll post links to under this video. And that series of videos, I think it's a 3-part series by memory, called Introduction to Traditional Wet Shaving. It turned me from a guy who had to force himself to shave once a week to a guy where when I haven't shaved for 2, 3, 4 days, it kind of bugs me. Like this beard right now, this beard is about 2 days old, and the reason I waited so long to film this video is because up to a couple hours ago I had a full head of hair. I like to shave my skull also with this nice little gadget here called a head blade, which I purchased online, headblade.com. Really interesting gadget for those of you who want to shave their skulls. And that was actually an effect of being a traditional wet shaver. I decided to apply that to my skull as well, since I like having a shaved skull, and I didn't want to mislead you guys by having a full head of hair in my first video. So yeah, this is a 2-day-old beard. Today's lather will be brought to you by Pro Raso Green. I don't know if you can see that very well. I'm using the green tub. This is a setup I'll be using very often. So yeah, basically to wet shave you need cream, shaving bowl, obviously a razor, sorry, and what else? Oh yeah, aftershave. So I have my shaving bowl here with my brush that I just emptied out in front of you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and lather up this soap here. Basically, one of the reasons that I'll be using Pro Raso Green in a tub very often is because I purchased this recently because this isn't the first tube, but after getting into the Mantic59 videos that got me into wet shaving, I bought a tube of Pro Raso Green. This one's been used for a while, and after a while I discovered that it was also available in tubs. And after having tried it out, I realized that I prefer the cream in a tube. So my goal is to basically go through the shaving soap, and as you can see, this one is kind of full, so it's going to take a while for me to get into that. So do I have enough? I don't know. Usually I count the strokes I do, but it's difficult. This is my first time filming myself while shaving and speaking, so let me just lather up what I have here. So yeah, one of the main things that I like about traditional wet shaving is, first of all, your hands are relatively clean during the shave. You know, when you shave with that shit in a can that Gillette sells you, you have to like spray it into your hands, and then to like manipulate the faucets, you're kind of like stuck doing the whole Edward Scissorhands claw thing. Whereas with this, you know, you will have lather on your hands, don't get me wrong, but it's compared to if you were spraying shit in a can into your hands and lathering up with your hands, you know, I just need to do this, and my hands are basically ready to go, ready to manipulate what I need to manipulate. Imagine doing that with traditional spray can deodorant smelling shaving cream on your face. Another thing I want to mention while I'm doing this while I'm doing this gesture right now is when you have a shaving bowl, a good shaving bowl, you want to make sure that the edges are as close to perpendicular as possible. When I broke my first shaving bowl, I used this shaving bowl temporarily. The edges are like this, so when you want to do this motion, the word isn't coming to me now, it's way more convenient. So, actually, before I lather up my face, I just want to do a quick note on shaving brushes, because, yeah, you caught me using the faucet there. So, yeah, a shaving brush can cost anywhere from about $20 for this boar hair brush. This is the brush that I bought a couple days after watching those Mantic 59 videos. It's pretty difficult for me anyway. I live in the Montreal area, by the way, so every now and then you might hear some French words coming out of my mouth, even though these videos are meant to be in English. So yeah, the shaving brush can cost anywhere from about 20 bucks for this boar hair brush to somewhere between 30 to 50 bucks for this badger hair brush, to over $200 for this other badger hair brush, which is way bigger. So I'm gonna start lathering up my face now, and I can see that I probably waited a bit too long, which is to be expected because I was talking to you guys, but the lather isn't as warm as I'd like it to be. But anyway, the first pass I find, because yes, traditional wet shaving involves multiple passes. The first pass I find isn't, the lather isn't as satisfying as the second pass, or sometimes a third pass when, for whatever reason, I feel like giving myself a third. Some traditional wet shavers always do 3. I don't really have the time. It takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to shave when I do a 2-pass, so I can't imagine consistently doing a 3-pass shave. I mean, I don't always shave like this anyway, so, but of course with these videos that's going to change. So, I'm just going to finish lathering up my face here, and then we can start with the first pass. Oh yeah, another thing I want to mention, something that's cool about traditional wet shaving is you have to actually know the lay of your face. I just want to add this as a note for those of you who will be noticing why I do this. There are 3, when you do 3 passes, traditionally the way you do it is the first pass is with the grain, the second pass is across the grain, and the third pass is against the grain. So you have to know how your face is laid out. And my face, the grain goes down everywhere except for my right jawline, where it goes out towards my left ear. So when I'll be shaving in a few minutes, I'll be shaving accordingly. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so just realized I didn't put the lid back on this tub of soap here. So yeah, basically when the only purchases I made after watching these Mantic 59 videos is the boar hair brush that I have here and a tube of Proraso soap. I used, the next day anyway, I used this Gillette Sensor, typical 2-blade razor. Pretty easy to find, although in today's age of razors with like 50 million blades on them, it's still kind of simplistic, but it wasn't simplistic enough for me, so my everyday razor, or every other day razor, is this nice single blade razor, which I'm about to use now. So, yeah, basically the way that you do this is the first pass. Like, the shaving itself is the simple part. I like to do the jaw while there's still some cream enough left for like the whole blade to be there. So once you just keep, yeah, one concept that's nice is to look at your face, see your face as a golf course, and you really want to shoot for par. You don't want to like hack up your face when you shave. You don't want to do all sorts of unnecessary strokes. So that's what I'm going to do here. There we go. This is the only part of my face that I cannot shave while speaking because I have to do this. but fortunately it's pretty short shaving that part. So yeah, the first pass is basically done. So now I'm gonna put this back in the tub. Gonna wipe off my face and get it nice and warm. Basically, every pass that's not the last pass, you wanna get a warm damp cloth and just rub your face down, keep your face nice and wet, and with the heat of the water, keep your pores open. So I'm gonna do that right now. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, like the main advantages to a traditional wet shaving, besides the fact that it's fun, I really do see shaving as a hobby. It's something I enjoy doing. But the main benefits, like benefits, is that it's cheaper and it's better for your face. I mean, the traditional stuff that Gillette and Schick will sell you, they involve like a whole bunch of blades, and they have these models with pre-shaved faces, acting as if the Mach 5 or the Schick 18 or whatever has this amazing shave that's really easy to do. And you know what? It might actually be faster, but it'll fuck up your face more because of all the extra blades. And also the actual act of lathering up your face with a brush has an exfoliating effect. So once your shave is done, it'll be a cleaner, clearer skin. Be back in a sec. Alright, so one thing I just realized I forgot to do before starting this is, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I shaved my skull just before setting up the recording here, so I didn't shave my sideburns. I'm going to do that at the end. So now it's time for pass 2, which is against the grain. So I'm going to go like this here. And again, for those of you who use or are curious about single blades where basically there's a blade on either end of the razor, if you're curious as to how to keep track of which side of the blade you're using so that one side doesn't end up dull while the other is still sharp, there are two options. There's and I've been kind of doing both throughout this whole video, because as I was re-watching some of Mantic 59's videos, I noticed that he does what I'm doing now, which is to basically flip the blade over and shave with both ends, and then you shake it off in the water once that's done. Another option, which I did actually for a long time before realizing this, is basically I conditioned myself to do a half turn like that with the razor as I'm turning it down, so over time I'm using both sides of the razor. So now I actually have the best of both worlds, where if for whatever reason I shake the razor off in the water before I've used up both halves, I'll still turn it over so I know that I'm wearing my blade down evenly. So the way I do the mustache across the grain is I do it like this first, and then I finish off the lower part here like this. Because basically, when you cut yourself while doing this across the lip here, it does an edge. When you cut yourself while doing this, it could be pretty deep. So basically, over years, I've found to do it that way, where you get this nice hybrid approach where I can still shave my mustache area across the grain without the risk of these gashing cuts across the top of my lip. So now I'm just going to, I'm going to follow up with what I just said and shave my sideburns here. That part, I don't really care about my sideburns, so I'll use the old sensor. And I really do still use the sensor every now and then when I'm in a hurry or when I just don't care enough about my shave, but the shave is nowhere near as satisfying as when I shave with a single blade razor. I shaved with this a couple days ago with the rest of the setup and everything, and no, it's not as good. And strangely enough, the longer your beard is, the bigger the advantage is of a single blade razor over a multi-blade cartridge. Because you know, guys, how after when you're, let's say you haven't shaved in a while, and you start shaving with a multi-blade, you know how hair gets caught between the blades, and all of a sudden your razor doesn't shave as well because there's a whole bunch of hair between the blades and everything's fucked up. Well, that problem simply doesn't apply to a single blade razor. So when you use a single blade razor, the advantage of single blade over a multi-blade cartridge expands the longer your beard is. So I'm just gonna test how smooth this shave is. Yeah. Satisfactory. It's the weekend, whatever. So this will have been my last pass. I'm just gonna pull the plug on the sink here, and the last dose of water will be cold. It's not cold enough for my liking, but it's getting there. It's getting there, and yeah, that'll go. So. There we go. Nice. Oh yeah. Nice. So, next is the aftershave. Again, since I don't really get my shaving products in the deodorant aisle, like most of you do, I have to get my aftershave products, you know, in stores. I'm really disappointed though. Some of the chain brands that I used to get my aftershave products at have closed down or have moved to a place where it's not convenient. But thankfully I still have a Lush store near my home. Today's aftershave will be Lush Bobanam. I don't know if you can read this. It's technically not aftershave, but it can be used as it. And it has this nice orange smell. And actually, since, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I shaved my skull just before turning this on, I'm actually going to apply the aftershave everywhere, because, you know, skin is skin, and you want to make sure that skin is nice and protected after basically dragging a sharp object across it for several times. So just gonna take a bit more, get the skull nice and woo, there, how's that? There we go, you can see that. Alright. And that's traditional wet shaving. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next time.